Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. And thanks for tuning in to another episode. Today's theme is basically like relationship problems slash not even slash. The theme really is like pregnancy drama. So, if that gives you an idea of what we're talking about, um we're just going to get right into the episode. All right, ready? The title of the first story is Am I Overreacting? My wife just got a positive pregnancy test. I've had a vasectomy for 15 years. Ooh. So, my wife of over 25 years just showed me a positive pregnancy test. I've had a vasectomy since just after our 18-year-old twins were born. She's freaking out about the pregnancy and the fact that I've had a vasectomy. I've been calm and supportive. I'm saying I'm fine. I really can't even think of a single time she has a chance to screw around. I'm going to make an appointment with a urologist. I'm still freaking the F out in my head. This happened an hour ago and it's just weird. I'm 56 and she's 50, which is way too old to have a kid. Edited to add, y'all are awesome. Someone mentioned perimenopause can cause false positives, and a Google search shows this to be accurate. Rare, but it happens. I've already mentioned it to her, and her doctor has her on the schedule tomorrow. The complete ending of a freaking out on her part pretty much put my anxiety to rest. I'll update in case anyone wants to know. Okay, some of the relevant comments on this, because it is a copy and paste story with like relevant comments included in the story. So I'm going to read some of them. Commenter 1, why did she take the test in the first place? Because of a missed period? At 50, the suspected cause of a missed period would logically be perimenopause and not a miracle pregnancy. It may not be reassuring, but even if she were stepping out, the odds of naturally getting pregnant at 50 are very, very, very slim. And then OP said, I haven't talked a lot about my wife's anxiety. She's gotten better over the years, but she still gets in her head too much sometimes. And that was the case here. She was 2 weeks late, so she grabbed a test on the way home to alleviate her worries. Commenter 2 said, never too old in my opinion, but if you both really do not want more kids, I'm praying it's a glitch in the matrix. OP said same. She won't have a termination and I'm honestly not a fan, although I would not try to persuade her if she wanted one. Not my call, but I think this is going to work out. And then someone said, how do you have a vasectomy and not realize that they can fail? You need to get your sperm count checked, and going to your wife as cheating as your first response is gross. Like, if you're coming in your wife, it should be your first idea that it's probably you. If you've had a vasectomy that long, I don't know why it would be your first thought that she would be cheating and not your first thought that you need to go get your sperm checked. Opie said, I know, but stress and that initial anxiety are not logical. Please believe me, I was the most caring and calming person I could be. The overreaction was all internal. That's a little bit, I would say, harsh to be like, that's disgusting. I mean, I think that as the human brain, it's not that you're always thinking the correct thing, especially with like people, I don't know if he has anxiety, but people with anxiety or like overthinking, or even just a regular human being that doesn't have anxiety or anything like that. Like, you can still sometimes doubt things, and I don't think that it's gross to be like, oh, is this an, like, could that be possible? Anything could be possible. I mean, I don't think that it's very fair to be like, that's disgusting that you would even think that your wife cheated on you. What? That happens all the time. People cheat all the time. So if someone's pregnant and you obviously have a vasectomy, yeah, one of those thoughts is going to be, oh shit, like, did she cheat on you? I don't think that's that like outlandish to me, but I would think that if it were the other way around, I would be like, oh my God, especially because a I'm a fairly paranoid person at times. So yeah, that would be one of my thoughts for sure. I mean, someone on the street could be like, uh, something like, I don't even know. Someone on the street could say something to me and then I would be like questioning if it's true, even if it's like a complete lie. Like, they could just be a compulsive liar and they could come up to me and be like, I know this about you. It could be about myself. It could be like, I saw you cheating on your boyfriend 2 days ago. And I'd be like, was I cheating on my boyfriend 2 days ago? Obviously not, but like, I don't know. My brain just works that way. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, there's an update, so we're going to read it. Am I overreacting? My wife just got a positive pregnancy test. I've had a vasectomy for 15 years. Update. So I'm actually a bit surprised by how much this has been seen and commented on, as well as an insane amount of DMs. Even if I didn't reply, I did read them all. Some background: when our twins were little and I was working 2 jobs, my wife had an emotional affair. So there is a history that led to me freaking out initially. It was barely an emotional affair from her side, but the affair partner was pushing boundaries when I caught what was happening, and in her defense, she agreed it was inappropriate as soon as I confronted her and went no contact immediately. Since then, we've actually gotten to a great place and have a great marriage. Got all the questions of why she took a pregnancy test. She was 2 weeks late, and even in perimenopause, she's like a clock usually, and as has been mentioned, the snip can fail. For the "she's for the streets" comments and DMs, after my initial reaction, I'm not concerned that she was fooling around. Our youngest daughter wanted us to get location sharing, so we all share each other's locations. We have Ring cameras at all entry exit points at our home, and honestly, we pretty much are together when we're not at work. On to the update. She's not pregnant. They are unsure what caused the false positive, which they got at the doctor's as well, but an ultrasound ruled it out. I have an appointment to make sure I don't have any swimmers because now I'm just nervous about that. They want to do some more tests to make sure the HCG in her system is just a symptom of perimenopause and not anything worse. I'm glad that my freakout was kept to myself, and thanks to all of you that have some info on what could be causing the issues. That's likely it. I've never had a post blow up like this. A Newsweek writer contacted me for a comment, even so I'm considering deleting my account. That's crazy. Commenter 1 said, "Honestly, I've never seen a post end up like this. I'm happy for you that you are both secure and immediately went to get health checked for both of you, or are going to. I love that you both trust and support each other and don't have any issues worrying about her being for the streets. It sounds like you both are with the right person and that hopefully everything else is healthy for both of you. Good for you guys. I really needed this positivity and hopeful outlook today. Thank you." Okay, we love that. We love that. I'm glad that that ended up in a positive note because obviously I didn't think that it was going to when I was reading that title, but I'm really happy, especially because I feel like it's kind of scary to have a pregnancy that late because just the risks and yeah, the risks basically. There's just such a high chance of something being wrong with the baby's health or even the mother's health in that case. And yeah, I would be really scared. And then also just not I'm not shaming anyone who has kids that old, but I just feel like I would feel so bad if I got pregnant at 50 and then you're like 70 by the time they're 20, and that's like how old my grandparents are. And then I feel like you're just not there for as much of their life because obviously, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how like healthy you are, but like my grandpa died at like 85. So what, you're going to die when your kids are like 35? Is that right? I don't know, but I would rather be able to see the majority of my kid's life. Like my mom is 60 and her mom is still alive and her dad just died. So like I don't know. I just personally would much rather be able to like enjoy my kid's life, especially because when you're 50, I feel like you're just so ready to just like calm down, settle down, and just be chilled for the rest of your life. And like having a kid at that time is just that would be so exhausting. I can't even imagine. Like I'm exhausted right now just thinking about that. Okay, the next story. I feel as if this one might be a little bit crazy. A little bit crazier. I don't know. But the title is giving crazy, so we'll see. The title is "My girlfriend leg locked me and now we have a child because of it." I know it sounds stupid, but I have to finally get this off of my chest. My son exists because his mother wrapped her legs around me during climax and caused me to finish inside her. After 3 years of being together and using the pull-out method, she decided she wanted to have children. So she timed her ovulation, engaged me in an intimate way, rode me, and when I was climaxing, she pressed her weight down on me while wrapping her arms and legs around me and wouldn't get off. I tried to remove her from me, but she used every muscle she had to stay attached. We were literally fighting. There was nothing comical about the moment. When I finally pushed her off, I asked her why she did it, and she didn't answer. She just sat there on the floor, staring into the carpet with a slight smirk on her face. It was an incredibly strange moment. So I immediately went out and I got a plan B, but she refused to take it. She said she didn't want poison in her body with it. She said she knew she wasn't pregnant, but a few weeks later, she showed me a positive pregnancy test. I told her that we should abort. She refused to do that too. She said it wouldn't sit well in the eyes of God. By the way, This woman had punched me in the face several times. She's smoked, drank, been intimate out of wedlock, lied, stole from stores, and her mom told me that she had an abortion before. All of a sudden, she brought religion into it. I kid you not. All of this, and I had told her on several occasions that I never wanted children. I was the oldest of 9 children and spent most of my youth raising them. When she got pregnant, she was 23 and I was 25. While pregnant, she acted as if she was handicapped from month 1. She refused to do anything for herself, so I had to do it. After our son was born, she became even worse. She said she had postpartum and refused to help with him. I changed all the diapers, did all the rocking to sleep, middle of the night care, and feedings. She said she would breastfeed, but wanted to continue smoking, so she stopped breastfeeding after 2 weeks in. I raised her and our son for 2 years and I just could not take it anymore, so I left. She made me pay dearly. She took me to court and told them I didn't take care of our son. She refused to let me see him before court, so to them, I was an absent father. I paid $1,400 a month in support and was only making $39,000 a year. After winning child support, she would leave him with me for most of the week. She told our friend group that I was gay, I abused her, and that she didn't want to leave our child around me because she feared I'd abuse him, either physically or even worse. She has since dragged me through the court system, tried to get restraining orders on me, verbally assaulted women I've dated, driven past my residence on several occasions, constantly talks bad about me in front of others and in front of our son, and writes me some of the worst texts you'd ever want to read. Oh, and leaves me crazy voice texts. For years, my life was hell until I finally just gave up and let her take our son to another state just so I can have some peace. Unfortunately, I'm Disney dad now, who only gets him during summer vacation, but on the bright side, I'll only have to deal with her for another 4 years. He's almost 14 now. Unfortunately, he's doing a lot of his growing up, and I don't get to see it. I love him so much, and I only want what's best for him. I want to take him into my care, but I don't want him to feel like he was taken away from his mom before he's ready. He's hinted at coming in to move with me, but also told me that she bribes him. She offers him extra gifts and money to give her information about me. Sadly, he said she'll get really upset with him if he doesn't give her information or says he doesn't know. By the way, I knew she had anger issues. However, I thought that she would grow out of them with time and maturity. I was young and dumb, thinking people could change for love, and I was wildly wrong. Anyway, it's a huge relief to confess this, and thanks for attending my TED Talk. Oh my gosh, I'm actually shook at that. I didn't realize it was going to go that insane. I thought that was going to be like, I mean, the title itself is crazy, but I wasn't expecting all the extra added chaos. And this poor guy, I feel so terrible for him. I honestly, it really makes me so sad because that to me is SA. Like, it's it's giving like forceful, and I hate that. That's just like so scary to obviously not want to finish inside someone and then they just force you by like hold, that is not a good image, and that is not sitting right with me at all. That is not okay. That's like genuinely scary. And if someone did that to me, I would actually feel like I was SA'd. Like I feel like that there should be some type of punishment for that because that's actually so crazy to me. Anyways, we're going to read. There is a bunch of like information added that he edited. It says, edit, whoa, the response to this post is unexpected. Thank you all for taking the time to read my confession and comment. I've gained great perspective from some of the advice here. Please allow me to clarify a few things. 1, I fully accept my fault in this situation. Whenever I talk to someone about the challenges I've faced with co-parenting, I'm always sure to end it with, hey, I've made my bed. I knew she was a troubled person, and I tried to leave her a few weeks before the situation. She actually fell to her knees, grabbed my right ankle, groveled at my feet, and begged me not to leave her. The reason I was dead set on leaving was because when she left to visit her mom for Christmas, weeks before, she logged into my email and was checking my messages. I knew she was in there because my most recent email had been read. To confirm my suspicions, I created another email account, pretended to be a woman, and sent a few messages back and forth to bait her. She fell for the bait by the third response and replied to the thread from my inbox. Yes, it sounds silly, but I had to be sure. I called her while she was away and explained to her what she was seeing in my inbox. I showed her the faux email address when she returned and told her that our relationship was over. Cue sobs, groveling, and promises to change. This was a constant scenario with her. She'd hit me, cuss me out in front of our friends, use confidential information I'd share with her against me, invade my privacy, i.e., steal my phone and lock herself in the bathroom, go through my laptop, go through my Facebook messages, etc., and then cry hysterically and tell me she would change. Her favorite phrases were, "You're older than me and have so much more life experience. You're a man and should be stronger than me. It's not my fault. I saw my mom beaten by my stepdad, so when you raise your voice at me, my first resort is violence," and always end it with, "But I'll change. I just need time." Hence my naivety and patience. After the message incident allowed her to seduce me again. That's my fault. I should have told her no, but it's difficult to turn down someone you've grown accustomed to being intimate with over the last 3 years. And then the leg lock incident occurred. 2, the best part of this confession is not only has getting this off my chest felt therapeutic, but the advice. Many people have echoed an obvious possibility that I've considered but willfully overlooked for years. And that's getting a paternity test. I didn't get a test because her behavior came off as infatuation. I always assumed she wouldn't cheat on me because she was so overbearing and afraid I'd leave her. It never really occurred to me that her constant accusing me of cheating and invading my privacy was her projecting her misdeeds onto me. Side note, I never cheated on her or gave her a reason to think that. She held the reins so tightly there was no room for infidelity, even if I wanted to. Her reason for this thinking was all men cheat. Anyways, when my son gets here in the summer, I'll have the test ready on day 1. I'm going to go with 23andMe as it's not so straightforward and I can let him read the box. I'm sure he'd be able to process learning our lineage instead of him thinking we're doing a test to determine if I'm really his dad. I'll be sure to update this post with the results. 3, I didn't go to the police or tell anyone about this incident because I didn't think anyone would believe me. After all, I'm a man, and admitting that I allowed a woman to do this to me sounds insane, especially admitting this to other men like local police officers. I didn't think anyone would take such a claim seriously, so for the naysayers who don't believe this is true, I understand your disbelief. As I write this, I'm still amazed that such an event has caused me such great suffering. Imagine being forced to do a job that you never signed up for day in and day out. Now, imagine that job is for a person that is literally a part of you, a being that you must care for. This caused me a massive emotional conflict every single day for years. That conflict was just about my feelings as a parent and didn't even include the constant conflict with my co parent. Suffice to say, it led me to want to off myself, but I didn't because I didn't want my son to grow up being the kid and known as the kid with the dad that punched his own ticket, amongst other things. I know this edit goes beyond a confession, but for the sake of clarity, I feel I owe it to everyone battling it out in the comment section. Thanks again, everyone, and never let anyone steal your joy. That's actually one of the first things that I thought, is that maybe she knew that she was pregnant, so she did that so that he thought that it was hers. Because also, the possibility that you got pregnant the first time you did that is crazy. Like, you'd have to be so fertile. I feel like for me, I've always thought just getting pregnant is so easy, and it's just like any type of slip up, you're done for. But as I've gotten older, I've learned about how hard it actually is. Even if you don't like struggle with fertility issues, it can still take a while to actually end up conceiving and having a child. And it's crazy because I always thought, like, growing up, just dry humping would get me pregnant. The way that I would actually be terrified if I was dry humping someone, the next day I'd be looking up on Google, does dry humping get you pregnant? Not even kidding. Like, literally, oh my God, I can't even. Grinding at like an 8th grade dance, I'd be like, does grinding at a dance get you pregnant? Because I was so terrified. And I feel like it's almost like fear mongering as you grow up, because adults are like, you will get pregnant and you will die, like Mean Girls. That's what it's giving. That's literally what I feel like I grew up with, is just all the adults being like, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant. You're going to get pregnant. If you have sex one time, you're going to get pregnant. If you kiss a boy, you're pregnant. You know what I mean? And that is just like what instilled the fear in me since day one. Okay. Some of the comments: have you ever done a DNA testing? Okay. I feel like most of these comments were already addressed in his edit. So someone said, where are these people getting that you continued afterwards? I don't see it. I'm sorry any of this is happening. I wish the court system would listen to the kid sometimes, because he should have a right to choose you. I know. I do agree with that. It's so hard and it's so sad, but unfortunately that's just not how it works. And I can understand, obviously, like, you're not, when you're like 4 years old, you don't really, I feel like at 4 years old, I was way closer with my mom, so I would have chose my mom over my dad. Sorry, Dad, I love you. I'm so sorry. to say that. But when I was 4, like I was a mommy's girl. I just wanted to be with my mom all the time. And I was like mad at my dad that they were getting a divorce, even though like it was both of their decisions. It was like a mutual decision that they needed to get a divorce. And I was 4. I didn't know anything. So I feel like I definitely would have, if it came down to it and the court was like, do you want to be with your mom or your dad? I would have picked my mom, but my mom got custody most of the time anyways. My dad did like get to see us, but not full time. And I'm not really sure what the deal was with that. Now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, Dad, why didn't you want us half? Because we saw him every other weekend and every Thursday. And I'm like, interesting, Dad. Did you not want us half the time? Or was it my mom that was like fighting for more custody? I wonder. I've never asked that because I was so young that I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I know my dad loves me and I've never like questioned that my dad like doesn't want me or doesn't love me. I know that both my parents, that's something that I've never had to question, which I'm very grateful for because I know that that's not the case in every situation. But I've always just like, I've never doubted that my dad loves me. And my mom too. So, yeah. Have I doubted other things? Yeah. Like sanity sometimes. Just kidding. Jokes. Comical. This is a comedy podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes. This is the next story. The title is Wife, female 33, and I, male 34, decided to try for kids last year. Found out I'm completely infertile without surgery. 5 months later, she got pregnant. I literally do not know what to do. This is long. My wife and I have been married for 3 years, together for 6. She's always been one of the most amazing people that I've ever met. No huge fight, love languages match up, and we're both fairly active people, which has been why we've always had a really strong relationship for so long. That's why this is so difficult for me. We've both been doing pretty well in our careers the last few years. She's in marketing, and I work independently as an IT consultant, allowing me to set my own hours and be pretty flexible. We decided last year that we wanted to start a family, her most likely keeping her job full time and me scaling back to part time. We've both been anxious but pretty excited to have our own kids. Long story short, I was diagnosed with azoospermia last December. Blockage in the pipes just meant I wasn't actually producing any sperm when ejaculating. It's curable with surgery, thankfully, and we finally got it scheduled this July. She's got a high sex drive, as do I, so we've still been very sexually active, but there should have been no way I could have gotten her pregnant. She missed her period this week. I couldn't imagine that she might actually be pregnant, right? The babies are bottled in until they get the blockage out. She took 3 tests, though, and sure enough, they're all positive. At first, I was stunned because this shouldn't be possible. She's never been unfaithful to me in the past and never given me a reason not to trust her. I'm not the jealous type, but I'm literally stuck. The doctors said this couldn't happen, and I can't believe my wife would jeopardize the future we've been so excited for over some fling when we seem to have such a great emotional and physical connection. My wife's been ecstatic. She's given no indication of any guilt or worry that she may have cheated. She was so excited when she first found out that I didn't express my worries then, but she left for work and now I feel completely torn. What if she did cheat? Looking back now, there's a few tiny things that didn't seem to be an issue but now have me racking my brain for clues. Her job often has her taking clients out for dinner, and it's not uncommon for her to get back later in the evening. She definitely had a busy last few months, but that's not uncommon for her job. She always wears one of the same 2 perfumes, but she came back one night smelling completely different. I remember seeing a text message on her lock screen of just a winky face, a different time, but assumed it was one of her girlfriends. I don't know what to do. I set up an appointment on Monday to see if there's any chance it could be mine. If it is mine and I accuse her of cheating, I would feel like the world's biggest a-hole. But she's coming home in a few hours and I don't know what I'm going to say to her. I can't stop thinking of these small things that may have been her cheating and I just didn't see it. Do I wait until the doctor's appointment Monday before talking to her, or do I bring up these insecurities while she's celebrating the pregnancy? I'm worried I won't be able to hide what's going on. Yikes, I would wait. I would just wait it out for a second because I don't think there needs to be any jumping of the gun. Give it a little bit more thought. Okay, we're going to read the edits and then there's an update that we're going to read as well. Okay, edit. I should add I've been cheated on before. Our relationship has been pretty healthy, but that old fear is creeping back in now. I'm not sure how to just wait until the appointment. I really hope you guys are right that some freak sperm made it past. My wife's coming home, though, in an hour and have to decide if I'm going to put on a happy face until Monday or not. She texted saying she's going to be home late. This is bringing up some old emotional scars, I think, and it's just effing with me. I'm usually never this insecure or uncertain about being straightforward. I think I need to just find some way to bring it up without being accusatory. Oh, I don't know what I would do in this situation. It's so hard because I know morally it's not right, okay, to go through someone's phone, but like I feel like I would in this situation, to be honest with you. And I'm so sorry to say that. But like if this was the case and it's just like, there could be a big possibility. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just feel like I would. I just feel like it. And I hate to say that, but I've never gone through my boyfriend's phone. We've been together nearly 5 years total, not counting our breakup or counting our breakup. Wait, what? Yeah. And I've never gone through his phone. And I'm proud of that. And he's never gone through my phone, which he's probably never even thought about going through my phone, but I've never even thought about going through his phone. But I have thought about the fact that I could go through his phone, but I won't do it because I don't want our relationship to be unhealthy. And I never want to like get to that point with him because I was at that point with my last relationship. And my last relationship was just like so shitty. And I feel like once you go through someone's phone, I feel like it just opens this like new, I don't even know. It just breaks like the fourth wall and it's just like toxic. It's toxic. But I've done it. I've done it plenty of times. Don't even bother. Okay. Wife, female 33, and I, male 34, decided to try for kids last year. Found out I'm completely infertile without surgery. 5 months later, she got pregnant. Update. First, I just want to thank everyone who reached out and offered their similar story. I can't believe how many people are told they're completely sterile and end up being able to have kids anyways. I took a lot of what you guys said to heart. I had an ex of mine from years ago end up cheating on me, and it really left a scar for a while. It wasn't until I got more involved with sports and getting in better shape that I was able to try and move on. My wife and I actually met in a soccer league we were in together. We've had so much trust for so long that I thought those fears had gone away. It wasn't until now that I really started to feel shaken like that again. But I didn't want to let my past get in the way of what could just be a huge blessing. A few people really articulated the right way to communicate my feelings in a way that wasn't accusatory and respectful of my wife, who's never really given me a reason to doubt her. It's not uncommon for her to sometimes be home late, and she'll usually like to go straight to bed. I didn't want to dump this on her immediately and decided to give myself a night to sleep on it. I got up pretty early just being restless and went for a run and cleared my mind. I couldn't wait any longer. I made our favorite omelets and told her I needed to talk about something. You know I'm not Ashley, right? She knows me so well. Ashley's my ex who cheated. So first I apologized. I apologized because I let this build up in my head for so long without talking to her about it sooner. What should be blessing has been nothing but insecurity and fear for me. We talked for a while and I told her how happy it made me to see her ecstatic and excited for the baby. I told her how much I loved the relationship that we've built together and I felt like an asshole for questioning her loyalty. She had never given me a reason not to trust her and that I still couldn't emotionally get over the thoughts of infidelity because of my ex. She thanked me for telling her and she knew how hard it was for me to get over that. She volunteered to have us get a paternity test right when he or she's born, which made me feel a lot better at first, but something still felt off. I honestly don't know why. Something about how she was so eager to get a paternity test and almost not mad at me at all for having kept this from her. Normally, she would have been upset that I didn't bring it up right away, but there was just a weird feeling I couldn't shake for the rest of the day. It seemed like she was saying all the right things, but I couldn't get rid of this clawing feeling inside my head. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe there's a gut feeling that I need to listen to. But I ended up going to the appointment alone as we decided it would be good to see if I still needed the surgery. Turns out it's obstructive azoospermia. I've read so many stories about people who were supposed to be infertile and ended up getting pregnant. So I brought that up and how my wife's pregnancy was affecting me. The urologist thought it would be pretty unlikely that I wouldn't need surgery to have a kid with how mine was presenting itself. He mainly tried to skirt around the topic and mostly pushed me towards making sure she was actually pregnant. Being there didn't really help. I feel like I just got more uncertainty. She had another night being out till 8:30 last night. We talked about scheduling an appointment to verify the pregnancy when she got home. She seemed a little confused, but then quickly agreed. She promised to do it in the morning. I asked her how work had gone, and she gave me kind of a non-committal answer about her boss pushing her too much and being stressed out. There's nothing huge there, but she just seems off. I really couldn't put a finger on it. We were still acting all lovey-dovey, but something just felt wrong, and I couldn't talk about it without repeating the same conversation we had on Sunday. I've been trying to throw myself into work to distract myself, but I haven't been able to focus. We have a joint checking account that will sometimes move money in and out of, but really only use it for groceries or household items unless we talk about it beforehand. This morning she moved half of it into hers, about $1,700. We don't do that. She's never needed to before. And I checked our healthcare portal and she made the appointment for the one time Thursday that I mentioned I was busy working on site. We were supposed to go together. I'm starting to go crazy. How do I bring this up that it isn't just me having the same conversation again? I'm looking into getting a second opinion for myself, but I need a litmus test from objective outsiders to know if I'm really losing it or if this seems weird to anyone else. Oh Lord, I don't have a good feeling about this. That's bad sign. It's a bad sign. Okay. There's another two small updates that we're going to read. Update, I've been trying to center myself. We talked calmly for a bit on the phone. She claimed she moved the money out in anticipation for the deductible payments she'll have with different visits. I didn't bring up anything else, but she seemed a little impatient with me. Probably right, so. And implied that we'd have a longer talk when she gets home. I'm just trying to not overreact right now. I don't know what to think. This is either a misunderstanding on my side, and I'm a father, or not. Thankfully, she's not working today. Another update, I went for a long run to clear my mind. Got a shower and then my wife should be home. I'm going to go into the conversation with no judgment, just objectively talking about the facts and why I've been struggling personally with some of them. Regardless of what happens, I'm done with any confusion left between us. Thanks to those who messaged me and gave me advice. So there's another update that we're going to read, guys. And the title is Wife, female 33 and I, male 34, decided to try for kids last year. Found out I'm completely infertile without surgery. 5 months later, she got pregnant. Update 2. I'm sorry to drag you guys through the worst of my insecurities. I definitely channeled quite a bit of my negative shit into what I posted. But hey, that's what anonymous people are good for sometimes, I guess. Anyways, we finally sat down after she got home last night. I told her everything that was going on, the urologist, the money, the upcoming appointment. I told her how, even with all her reassurances, too many suspect things kept happening. She agreed how everything looked and immediately apologized. She didn't realize how much my last ex's cheating was still affecting me. She knew I was off going into the weekend, but thought we addressed that. We talked about it Sunday, but I can get pretty internal with all these worries and not show them outwardly. And so while she had thought we were communicating, I wasn't. We decided to start from the beginning and go through everything together. The money was the real problem for me. She agreed how inconsiderate it was with where my head was at to do that without mentioning it. Apparently, the prenatal visits are so structured that they want you to set up a payment plan with them right away, and she wanted to make sure it was squared away to keep the appointment. She offered, without me prompting, to call them with me tomorrow to verify that, or if I really wanted, we could move the money back. She does get better rewards out of hers, so it kind of made sense. We read up on the obstructive azoospermia, but it doesn't seem like they're often invincible force fields. It seems like the only actual absence of the vas deferens actually guarantees complete infertility, so it is possible for some to get through. We're going to go back to the original specialist I was working with last year and hopefully get a clearer picture. It turns out the appointment she made was the only time they had available so soon and figured it'd be best not to wait. I told her I took off work to go with, and she was relieved that I could join. Once again, she said all the right things and seems genuine about getting us on the same page. After going through each thing, I was just wishing I believed her a little bit more. She's stressed out with work and when she'll have to take off, but she really seemed to want to go out of her way to alleviate my concerns. She even offered an open phone policy if needed. We did look at the text I had seen, and it was just a girlfriend. I declined, though, right now, since I don't want to be that husband. This has really made me take a deeper look at what's in my past and how that still affects me today. Even thinking back to this weekend, it was so hard to see in the moment how much all the uncertainty was affecting me. That level of anxiety literally makes you question what around you is real. I think the trust, but verify is the best way to put it. I was just trying to verify without any of the trust, is all. This has all put a strain on our marriage right now, but I'm feeling a bit more like we're a team again, working towards easing that. She thought that a nip ASAP was a great idea, as long as we also get some kind of counseling together. I'm not big on therapy, but I can probably agree that it will most likely help. I'm finally a little better about everything. Thanks again to everyone who reached out and shared their own story. Every other comment here I read was a story of a family member who was supposed to be barren and ended up popping out triplets. And most of all of those who helped me try to communicate fairly through all of this. It's time for me to hopefully be a father. Update. The paternity test came back initially positive for anyone that's going to see this. Yay! It just wasn't looking good for her. It really wasn't. I mean, it did seem like if you were paranoid, it seemed like something like sketchy, a sketchy partner would do. And I would be terrified, especially because of how much the doctors were insisting, like, that's not possible, that's not possible. I mean, obviously, I feel like in most cases, there's always a tiny bit of a possibility. So it's hard to, like, obviously, as a doctor, you want to be like, that's not a thing. It's very, very rare, but obviously in some cases it can happen, and here we go, it did. And honestly, they are so like, they're so blessed to be able to have a kid after being diagnosed with that. Like, that's crazy to me that things like that happen. People tell you you're never going to be able to have a kid, and then you pop out triplets. I know that wasn't them, but like their friend told them that. That's so insane to me. I think my mom actually, after she had, so my sister was born and then my mom had a tubal pregnancy, which is where the egg gets like implants on the fallopian tube, I believe. I think that's correct. And so she basically like nearly died because of the complications of that. And after that, they told her, like, you're never going to be able to have kids again. And then she had me and my brother. So she had my brother and then me. So thank God, because otherwise I wouldn't exist. Actually, I didn't really ask to be alive. So I probably wouldn't even know if I was alive or not. Right? Like, all the people that don't exist right now don't know that they don't exist. So it's fine. It's kind of crazy to think about that, honestly. It's like you could just not exist, but you just wouldn't know that you exist. Like, there could be so many people that are about to be born that could become like the most famous person in the world. But we don't know if they're going to exist or not. I don't know if that even makes sense at all, or if I'm just being a crazy person, but if you know, you know. Okay, I'm just gonna skip on the advice segment today because I would like to just like chat with you guys for a little bit, because I feel like sometimes I don't really get to chat with you guys because I don't know, sometimes I just don't have anything to talk about. I don't really have much to talk about today, but I'll just like update you guys on just, I don't know, random shit that's going on in my life. And yeah, this weekend I don't know, I guess I'll give you an update on what we did this weekend. We didn't really do much, but we did run errands on Saturday, and we went to TJ Maxx and got some real, like, we got this really cute little strawberry jar. I'm obsessed with strawberry stuff. Like, anything with strawberry decor is amazing. Oh, also on Thursday, me and Sam filmed last week, Thursday. So we're struggling, okay? We're struggling about what we want to do for our podcast. So right now we're currently doing pop culture stuff, and then we're doing like a little bit at the end where it's just like a segment of us basically learning random shit that we don't know. So last week, the last like 15 minutes of the episode were us just like the Great Wall for China, or the Great Wall of China for Dummies, basically. That's what the last 15 minutes of that episode were. So we're like, we want to do so many things. So we're like, why don't we just do all of them? Because we wanted to like niche down so that we could, like, what's the word? Um, Maximize, I guess. I don't know. And try to, because I feel like pop culture is it's a very talked about subject. So I felt like niching down to pop culture would help us to initially grow our audience. And I just don't think that's what it's giving. And also, we love pop culture, but there's also so much other stuff that we love and that we would want to talk about and that we like want to do. So, honestly, I'm thinking we're going to do a couple episodes a week now, because we just have so much that we want to do and so much that we want to talk about and so many different like ideas that we want to do. So, we're going to like just throw shit at the wall until something sticks. And I want to do we want to do some Reddit stuff. We want to do some like Reddit reactions and stuff like that. We want to do some pop culture. Then we want to do our segment about like learning for dummies, basically just like random subjects that we don't know anything about and like learning that while filming. I don't know if it makes sense like when I'm saying that, but we've done a little bit of it and it was pretty funny. Like, it's kind of like silly goofy because people definitely probably think like we're so dumb, But I don't know. There's a lot of random stuff that I just don't know about. And I feel like we learn a lot of this stuff in school, but I just, to be totally honest and frank with you, didn't pay attention in school until like my junior year, because at that point I was like, wait a minute. If I want to go to college, I got to get better than a 2.5 GPA, girl. Like, come on. Come on. So, yeah, that's like when I really started paying attention and actually trying. And before that, I was just a loony bin that only cared about partying and hanging out with friends and doing fun stuff. So, yeah, I don't know a lot. And I did not listen. I don't know. I literally had like a disease or something where I could not pay attention. I could not pay attention for the life of me. I could not process information in certain classes. Like in my history classes, I wanted to understand so bad, but I genuinely feel like during those classes, I just blacked out and I couldn't process any of that information. Even if I was 100% paying attention and trying my best, I swear to God, like, I don't know if my brain was just like so, it was mush up until my junior year when I actually started trying, or if I genuinely just like had something wrong with me. I genuinely feel like I did, and I just was never like, it was never bad enough to the point where I needed to like actually reach out and get help for it. So I never did. But I told you guys I was in reading recovery, and we that was because I couldn't pay attention. Like I could not process reading information. It was my comprehension most of the time, and that's because when I'm which I've gotten a lot better at, obviously, because I do this podcast, and then as well I read. Like I read a lot now because I have a Kindle, so I read a lot and I actually really enjoy reading. I read mostly every day. Sometimes I'll skip a day or two, but mostly every day I read. So, yeah, now I can pay attention a lot better. But even sometimes, if I'm not enjoying a book and it's not really, really hooking me and getting me to pay attention, or sometimes if it's like a little bit written a little bit too complicated and I really have to pay attention, like my brain will just go to multiple other subjects at the same time. I have like, I swear to God, it's like just a bowl of a bunch of different thoughts in my brain, not related to each other. And it's just constantly like firing in my brain when I want to pay attention. Like right now, I'm not thinking anything else in my brain. I'm purely thinking about what I'm saying and what I'm saying to you guys. But when I'm reading, it's like I'm a fucking superhero that like Megamind or something. I'm thinking multiple thoughts at the same time, and I'm like, how am I doing this right now? Why am I doing this right now? And it's actually so frustrating. I'm just always thinking in my brain when I want to just be thinking about the book that I'm reading so I can understand, and then I'll have to read the same page 25 times over, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is actually so annoying. Like this book is going to take me 70 years to read if I'm going to read every single page 7 different times and still not understand what's going on." You know what I mean? That's why I love Freedom McFadden books, because those books for me are just an easy read. Like easily written, also always grabbing your attention. I just think my attention span is so bad. And why am I surprised? I'm doom scrolling on TikTok constantly, so like obviously, but even before that, even before TikTok, even before like super doom scrolling when you're not really on your phone that much, like what we were on I was on Twitter. That was like the big thing in when I was in high school, like 2012 to 2016. That was like the big thing, was when you're on Twitter and you're just like looking at other people's tweets, which really isn't that engaging, honestly, because it's not like you're scrolling and watching multiple different videos, one that makes you cry, one that makes you happy, one that makes you like like what the fuck is going on. That's how TikTok is in my brain. TikTok is crazy because I will be bawling my eyes out, and then the next video I'll be like and it's actually insane, and I don't think that should not be a thing for humans, but it is, and I love it. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I just love TikTok. Like sometimes it's just really a much needed distraction, and then sometimes it's just like too much of a distraction and I need to get the fuck off of it and pay myself some mind, take a bath and read or something. But yeah, so that's the dilemma of the week. We're just going to try again until we succeed and figure out what our little niche is and figure out what is like what really hits. So, yeah, that'll be fun. But anyways, I don't really have anything else to say because nothing is really going on in my life right now. and I'm just living and breathing. And thank God for that. So I love you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments, please. Let me know what you thought about the stories. I always love to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, deepest, darkest thoughts. And if you haven't already, press the subscribe button, the like button, please. Love you so much. Also, if you want to listen on Spotify, there's the link below. There's links for everything below. We have a Discord, subreddit, Spotify, literally everything. So, yeah, love you so much. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.